Amy Johnson. Should you look out at sea from Sheerness, you will see the Red Sands sea forts. It was close to here that the world-renowned aviator, Amy Johnson, and the hero from Sheerness tragically lost their lives. Having undertaken numerous dangerous adventures, it was on an everyday routine flight that Amy would die. Amy Johnson was the darling of the nation. She was the first woman to fly solo from England to Australia and was named Queen of the Air by the British press. With the commencement of World War II, Amy, like many other women, offered her services to aid the war effort and was put to good use in the Air Transport Auxiliary, ferrying aircraft around the country, thereby releasing male pilots to fly in the Royal Air Force. On a cold, wet and windy morning, Amy set off in an Airspeed Oxford from Prestwick in Scotland via Blackpool to RAF Kidlington at Oxford. Later that morning, she landed on schedule at Blackpool. The weather had deteriorated further, and Amy took off from Squiresgate Airfield, Blackpool, in thick, freezing fog. She never arrived at RAF Kidlington. On Sunday, the 5th of January 1941, convoy CE-21, escorted by Sheerness destroyers and support vessels, was steaming up the Thames estuary. Amy's plane had failed to arrive at its destination. Much later, and many miles off Amy's route, the crews of the ship in the convoy saw a plane crash into the sea and its pilot parachute out. Royal Navy escort ships from Sheerness left the convoy to search for survivors of the plane crash. The weather was abysmal, with sleet and snow squalls sweeping across the choppy sea. The water was freezing. No one in the sea could survive for very long. Crew on board HMS Haslemere, a barrage balloon vessel from Sheerness, thought they heard a woman's cries and attempted to rescue a person in the rough sea. A second person was also thought to have been seen, but this later turned out to be one of Amy's bags. A rope was thrown, but the person in the sea was too exhausted or too numb from the cold to take hold of it. Seaman Raymond Dean climbed down over the ship's side at the stern and tried to grab the motionless person in the sea. The person in the water was only feet away when the stern of the Haslemere suddenly rose and fell violently in the stormy sea. The person had vanished. The captain of the Haslemere, Lieutenant Commander Walter Fletcher, dived into the freezing sea in an heroic rescue attempt. A boat was launched from HMS Haslemere, but in the poor weather conditions and strong tide, it was unable to reach Lieutenant Commander Fletcher. In the meantime, motor launch ML-113 had launched a Carley float. Lieutenant Commander Fletcher started to swim towards the float, but was clearly in difficulty. Lieutenant George Wright dived into the bone-chilling water and dragged him back to the float. Lieutenant Commander Fletcher by now was unconscious. He never regained consciousness and died a few days later in the Royal Naval Hospital at Gillingham. He was posthumously awarded the Albert Medal in May 1941. Conspiracy theories abound about the circumstances of Amy's death, but the simple truth is that in the poor weather conditions, Amy was unable to see the ground. She got lost and ran out of fuel. After only a short time immersed in the icy water, her arms and legs became numb. Unable to help herself, she simply slipped below the surface of the sea. Amy Johnson, the nation's hero. Lieutenant Commander Walter Fletcher, the man who lost his life trying to save Amy Johnson.